So when McLaren invites you down to its tech center to check out its esports training facility, I think it would be frightfully rude to say no. And what would you know, we were lucky enough to receive such an invite earlier this month. And for two motorsport heads like myself and Josh, we jumped at the opportunity. For two motorsport heads like myself and Josh, step there.
There is a step there.
You gotta like... Remember, if you'd like to see more content like this from the wonderful world of gaming, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help a lot. Thanks! So even if you're not into motorsports, you've probably heard the name McLaren. It's one of the most monumental names in the world of motorsport. With 182 race wins in Formula 1, it's one of the most successful teams in the sport. Add in a lifetime's worth of impeccable sport and supercar designs, and there really is no other car manufacturer quite like McLaren. Now, the company is expanding its horizons to the digital world. After tentpoling the Logitech McLaren G Challenge Esports tournament, which we covered over on GameByte, it's now moving forward with its own esports team, McLaren Shadow. But of course, when you're invited down to McLaren Tech Center, you've got to try out some of their racing rigs, right? The McLaren Shadow studio leaves the sleek and pristine finish of the tech center behind. You actually wouldn't know you were in this iconic building unless we told you. And with this amount of RGB, it's basically a proper streamer setup. Now, I've used a wheel and pedals to play F1 2021 at home, but this was on another level. Oh god. No, I can reach for pedals. That's cheating. Nothing really prepares you for how far back you're lying, and the wraparound screen just fully immerses you in the raw speed of an F1 car. Okay, so you may have beaten me.
I did.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Potentially.
12 seconds.
But who's really counting? It's fine. I mean...
Me, clearly.
It was so, like, realistic though, wasn't it?
I couldn't believe how far back we were lying. It was mad.
Yeah, and like the haptic feedback on the wheel, if you haven't got a wheel, I highly recommend checking it out because it was so realistic. During our trip down, we were lucky enough to speak with Lindsay Eckhouse, who is the Director of Licensing, E-commerce and Esports at McLaren Racing. What a title. She explained to us exactly what McLaren Shadow is all about. And she said,
So McLaren Shadow is the name of our esports team, and ultimately it's our gaming and esports brand. We're currently competing in F1 esports as sort of our only esport, and that's the real focus for us to ensure we have this foundation of credibility when we're speaking to a gaming and esport audience. And we've used that McLaren Shadow brand to ultimately pivot into the broader gaming space. So we opened the McLaren Shadow studio. It serves as sort of a content generation hub, right? You can get on a sim rig, you can play a PC game, although the PCs are hidden today. You can play some console games. And really the point of that is to just allow us to capture and create a ton of content to engage our audience.
Esports is classified as organised competitive video gaming. We also like to add in there it's human versus human. So it's not in your bedroom on your own playing against a computer. It's always teams of people playing against other teams of people.
You look at esports like most sports, there's a lot of skills to be developed, teamwork.
High energy, high passion.
Being able to be quite creative and develop those creative skills and digital skills needed in the wider world.
And it just gives fantastic learning opportunities to students.
Esports promotes inclusivity by sort of leveling the playing field. There is no physical advantage or disadvantage between different genders, which I think is one reason it's really unique. Secondly, there are no geographical boundaries, so you're able to play with people from all over the world, and it sort of tears down some of those differences that geography plays.
benefits of esports are widespread in schools. You can see improvements in attendance, improvements in behaviour, in exactly the same way we would with a traditional sport. Esports can be used in the same way by teachers and by parents who are willing to look past it being just as being video gaming as a way of motivating, as a way of engaging young people.
It's more interesting than anything else, so I feel like I put more attention into what I do, and I'm a lot more inclined to actively research more, put more of my life into it.
There's a stereotype where parents think it's all about gaming, and it's completely not at all. Like when I joined this course, obviously part of it was gaming, but now you look at it and look at all the different units and all the work we're doing, it's nothing at all like what people just expect.
It's making esports a part of education, will equip the children for the future roles of tomorrow, which is extremely exciting.
Educators in general and decision makers within education need to spend more time talking to the young people that are already participating in esports and how they value that interaction with one another.
Demystifying some of the misconceptions about esports. If you look at some of the top esports athletes in the world, they have physical training regimens, they have to study their tape of their play. There's a lot of commitment and dedication and knowledge, just like it would be to be a professional footballer. And the more that you demystify what esports is, I think educators start to see that as this really viable path.
You do see a lot of similarities in the sim racing rigs as you do on the track. And we see some of our drivers want to come in sim racing rig, right, as well as practice in their rigs and on track. So I think there's a lot of transferable skills, and it's an incredibly accessible way to experience real life racing. So we're still testing the hypothesis, right? But you've got examples already. And I think in the future, no doubt, I'd love to see those worlds blend more.
So if you're really into sim racing and you want to get stuck into professional esports, keep going. It's possible opportunities might come up for you here. I think we all know that esports is a notoriously tough nut to crack outside of the gaming audiences. It's fantastic to see huge companies, especially the likes of McLaren, take interest in growing their presence in this space. But what do you think about McLaren entering the world of esports with McLaren Shadow? Make sure to let us know in the comments. We'd like to thank Dell and McLaren for inviting us down for this research panel and for letting us loose in the McLaren Shadow studio. I've been Sara from GameByte, and you've been wonderful. Thanks for watching.